morning air wavered over the smoothly hewn stones of the ancient pavement with the rising heat of early sunbeams. Ella's short brown hair and the folds of her dress hung limply as she strode across the yard. "Ella, stop!" She paused and glanced at Kyth with a questioning look. Alder lowered his axe, his eyebrows shooting up in surprise. Keith's skin crawled. An invisible blanket of power descended onto the small courtyard. It rolled over his head, smothering sounds, absorbing all movement into its blunt softness. Someone nearby was using a strange sort of power. A gift, strong enough to penetrate the entire area. A lot stronger than Keith's. Great Shal Adim. "Ella, get back! Now!" Kyth locked his eyes with Alder's, both raising their weapons. "Greetings, Highness." The voice that echoed behind them crept through the yard like a snake, poising to strike. Kyth spun around. Shadows by the wall shifted and became a hooded shape, wrapped in a black priest-like robe. Kyth gasped and backed off. He could have sworn there was no one there when they first arrived. Too late, he noticed the deep protrusion of the wall by the arched courtyard gateway. He had never realized the niche was so deep. How the hell did he get in here? The hooded man chuckled. He clicked his fingers, answered by movement beside the columns at the far end. At least a dozen men stepped out of the shadows and fanned out, blocking the way to escape. They were dressed for action. Folds of their black robes tucked into their belts, loose pants girded at the ankles by the tall cuffs of their leather boots. Kyth recognized their weapons. Spiked balls hanging on long, thin chains. Auburns. Powerful, but extremely hard to master, banned for centuries after the fall of the old empire. A sword was all but useless against them, at least for someone with Keith's limited skill. Pits of hell. He edged further away, keeping as many men as he could in his line of sight. They idled, holding their weapons, but not attacking. The hooded man stepped forward. Sunlight fell onto his face, illuminating gaunt features. His eyes of such pale brown that they looked yellow. Animal-like. "So, we finally meet, Prince Kythar." "Who are you?" Kyth demanded. The man's smile wormed over his thin lips. "You may call me Kaddim Tolos." Kaddim. The strange title echoed in Keith's mind with a half-memory. A blend of opposites in the old tongue. Kadan, destroyer, and Adim, creator. Where had he heard this before? His skin crept. "What do you want?" "You." The man raised his hands, palms downward. A silent thunder rolled through the courtyard. Waves of smothering force pounced onto Keith's head. Alder and Ella gasped and doubled over, sinking down to the stone pavement. Kyth rushed to his friends, but the attackers closed their ring, forcing him to a halt. "Ah," Tolos said. "I can see your gift has grown strong enough to resist our power, Highness." Kyth clenched his sword. How does he know about my gift? The attackers drew closer, spinning their weapons with a short leeway. Spiked metal balls blended into gleaming circles. Kyth felt the wind on his face as he edged around their line, searching for a possible gap. "They will not harm you," Tolos said, "unless I order them to. All in all, we would like to capture you alive, but if we have to injure you in the process..." Kyth swept his eyes around the group. Too many to face by himself, but he would be damned if he gave in without a fight. He concentrated. As the attackers neared, he feinted at the closest one and countered the anticipated block by shifting the other way. He aimed low. His sword ripped through the cloth with a satisfying crack, but didn't graze the flesh as the attacker twisted out of the blade's way with snake-like speed. Damn. He crouched, trying to keep as many attackers as possible in sight. Too late, he noticed more shapes sliding in from